Welcome to this week's Amazing Race recap of episodes 4 and 5. Joining me tonight is the one, the only Goldberg. What's up, Goldberg?
Yo, what's up?
Also joining me, none other than Calbert. Calbert, what's happening?
What's going on, everybody?
All right. So last week we weren't really able to get a show. Partially my bad because I had jury duty. Kind of took me out of my zone for a little bit, so had to kind of come back down to normalcy a little bit. So anyways, we are going to be recapping episodes 4 and 5 tonight. So overall, just to kind of give you a little refresher, last week was the restart of the race. We had 7 teams being brought back because 4 didn't come back. The 2 eliminated teams from the previous start were allowed to come back. However, after watching these 2 shows, they would be better off in the showers than they would be on these races. So I just can't believe how
The
bad.
ghost of Anthony and Spencer would have done better.
Yes, anybody would have done better.
Yep.
Anybody, much less twice. It is really, really hard to fathom how bad that those teams have performed so far. But
I've looked it up. Somebody has to win the $1 million. I did look it up. They have to give it to somebody. Although I can make the argument that no one deserves it.
all right,
Maybe
well,
maybe one, team.
Maybe one. That's fair.
1.5.
oh, geez. All right, so then we got these 4 teams here, or these 7 teams. I'm sorry. They were at St. Gallen, Switzerland. Then they took St. Gallen to Hundwil Schwalgop Pass. So in this roadblock, one team member had to navigate a Via Ferrata to their next clue. So this was like that the scaling challenge. It seemed like Sherry had some troubles on this. Goldberg, I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right? She was a little afraid of heights, right? So
Yeah. We learned that in the last couple episodes. She's afraid of heights, but she's.
yes.
I mean, to me, they should be like. I don't know. They like looks wise. They of all the teams that had left, they just look like. It's just not going to make it, and they probably bicker more than any team left too at this point.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. I'm an athlete. We're athletes. We bicker.
Yeah, I don't know what school they played at, but I should have applied there. I'll say that.
You would have been a 5-star. You would have been a 5-star recruit.
Or I don't know how many years ago Akbar was dominating in the low post, but
Right.
he's. I mean, you can see, he's a competitor and he wants to win. I think that's kind of what he gets frustrated with her. But
yeah,
I mean, she's listen. I don't know how they. I mean, I guess we do know how they made it this far, but I don't know. It's their days are numbered.
well,
maybe not. Actually.
Save that for the power rankings.
About 2 or 3 teams that are probably worse than them somehow. So.
So really, there's only that was really the only team that kind of struggled on this challenge. Not too much, but anyways, the legs detour was a choice between punch it or toss it. In punch it, teams had to attach ornaments to a Swiss belt so that they told the story to receive their next clue from the master belt maker. In toss it, teams had to learn and correctly perform a Swiss flag throwing routine known as Fahnenschwingen. Okay, I definitely butchered that, but whatever. To receive their next clue. So, I mean, some of these teams, just their navigational skills were just terrible, like absolutely horrible. And how about the Amazing Race too? Like, all these teams think they're going to have a stick shift car, and then they give them automatic.
Well,
what a troll job there.
Even trying to find your car can be challenging. We've seen this in the last couple of weeks where, oh, that's not my car.
Yeah, that was tonight's episode for sure. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have done toss it, because I thought both these ones were actually a little bit challenging. Both these
Yes.
were challenging. I would have done toss it only because the actually doing the belt, you didn't exactly know what order it was supposed to go in.
Right.
Right. So I would have done toss it, even though like doing the around the back part of the flag was challenging for some.
Yes.
It's like, okay, the biggest thing is don't chop the flag. Okay, I can do that. As opposed to like trying to tell the story to make sure that it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, we saw one team in particular really, really struggle with that. So,
well, yeah, not only that, like you had to do some weird stuff with your arm motions with the flag, but
yeah.
other than that, teams seem to get this pretty.
Mhm.
I mean, you're constantly looking at it, okay, and you're constantly trying it. I think you're going to eventually get it where it seemed like it took a while to create the belt story. So,
yeah,
and you're exactly right. You didn't know which side it was going to be, so you're kind of taking a guess there. But how bad were Michael and Mo, man? I mean, their navigational skills were just absolutely awful. They were like, if you remember, they were in the like. I want to say when they were driving to the detour, they were like top 3.
Yep.
And they couldn't find the darn thing, and then they
Yep.
had to follow someone.
Right.
And then I think they got that clue to go to the detour, but then it's like it took them forever to get to the one detour. So
it's what cost them the first time.
Yep.
Before they restarted the race, it's the same thing, and that's the thing too. Like I was thinking in my head, I'm like, these are cops. Like,
yeah,
I understand that Google's a great Google Maps is a great thing.
Yeah.
So you gotta know a little bit of like that's why they have signs with arrows on them.
Yeah. They were just absolutely brutal. Goldberg.
Yeah, I thought Mike and Mo. I was gonna say it was probably the worst performance I've seen since I started watching the show again. and then I watched this week.
Oh man, these teams, well, they're last for a reason, and I just never seen such a. I don't know.
I mean, there's no question that the teams that were eliminated. Sometimes you say a team gets unlucky, they don't deserve to be eliminated. These teams deserved to be eliminated. Yeah. There is not a single doubt. I mean, listen, my girls looked horrible the first couple weeks. They're a top 3 team right now. So a lot has changed over the last couple weeks.
My gosh. Yeah. You know what? I'm thinking way back in the early days of the race, we had the granny team. Remember the granny team? I don't know if you do. They got eliminated, I think, the second episode.
Yep.
They would beat both of these two teams that were allowed to come back. The air traffic controllers, I think they were like season 6 or 7. 2 guys, like 300-pound dudes, have a couple donuts in the morning. Those guys would beat these two teams. So wow, it was a sad performance by Michael and Mo, but yeah, I was very disappointed with them. I thought they were going to at least come out with something, and yeah, they just more of the same. So
let me ask you before we move on, what are the odds that, I know I'm jumping ahead, what are the odds that Natalia and her father don't come in last next week? I mean, is there any way that anybody could finish behind them?
I think no. I think Akbar and Sherry could.
Well, that's true, actually.
Maybe, but they're not directionally challenged though.
No, they're not. No, but
so it doesn't matter. Like Aaron and Natalia are so directionally challenged, they get themselves in such a huge hole. I don't think it would matter what Akbar and Sherry does. The only thing that could save them is if they didn't have to do much self-driving. Like
But
that's the only way I think. But I think Phil said it. There's gonna be a lot of self-driving.
That's I was just about to say, but that's going to be hard to do. There's a lot of self-driving. I mean, they're going to get on the plane next week, and they're going to fly to France. I'm jumping ahead. They're going to fly to France next week.
2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks because we're still on week 4 right now. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying though. Yep.
So yeah, I mean, okay, like, but Goldberg's got a good point. Like, yeah, like, let's not forget, Aaron and Natalya should have been eliminated before the restart. Like, that was the team that I thought was going to be eliminated before Akbar and Sherry. But like, they're just surviving just because I think it's more luck than anything else.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. Here's another thing. I don't know what's up with Amazing Race this year, but through the first 4 episodes, pretty much, they've had unaired tasks that these teams have done. And this is a first for me reading this, probably first for you guys. As a result of re-entering the Amazing Race, Michael and Mo and Aaron and Natalya had to complete a speed bump after the detour that involved one team member running inside a ball resembling a cabbage while being directed by their partner to knock down haystacks before they could continue racing. This task went unaired in the episode, but was shown in promotional materials. So, I honestly, I don't get that. Yeah, that's. Well, yeah, I don't know why they're not showing that, but whatever. All right, let's go through the order of episode 4 here. So first place was Ryan and Dusty. Second place was Kim and Penn. Third place was Raquel and Kayla. Fourth place was Lula and Lala. Fifth place was Akbar and Sherry. Sixth place was Aaron and Natalya. Seventh place was Michael and Mo. Any thoughts on this episode to come back, Calbert?
I'll give Sherry a little bit of credit. Climbing that mountain was really, really difficult for her, but she didn't quit.
That's true. Yep.
That would have been, I mean, knowing what we know now for episode 5, but knowing what we know then, like, she's got a serious fear of heights. So, but Ryan and Dusty had no problem with it for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'll give them credit. I mean, I've been dunking on them in particular, but I'll give her credit. Like, she didn't quit going when she knew she was last, especially going down the mountain. She knew she was last, but she didn't quit. So,
what would you rate the episode for altogether?
Probably just because of the 'cause of the belt, probably a 6.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would give it, a 6 out of 10. I mean, it was good to have the restart, but the episode overall wasn't the most exciting. So,
well, yeah, let's not forget for just half a second. Like, if I remember correctly, Ryan and Dusty wanted to switch. They were a toss-it and they wanted to switch.
Yes.
And they stayed, which was a good thing because they got it on the first try.
Yes.
But so if you would have switched, we were talking about that a couple weeks ago. We're at that point now where if you switch, you might have to go across town, which that's what it looked like to me, to do the belt. Like,
yep,
it's it's in a field.
Yeah,
at a shack, pretty much. So
yeah, it was like way secluded.
Yeah, so I mean, good for them. Good for them to stick with it. And yeah, like to your point, the toss-it one. Like, I think there was only one little mess up, and even Akbar and Sherry, even with their arguing, with that, they got it done on the second try. So, yeah.
Goldberg, thoughts on episode 4?
Yeah, I mean, as bad as the bottom of the barrel teams are, I mean, it's clear that there's a best team, and at this point, we kind of compare it to the volleyballers from last season, but it's almost hard to see Ryan and Dusty not winning at this point. I mean, right?
Yeah.
You guys feel the same way? I mean,
yeah.
I know anything can happen, but I mean, odds-on favorite wise, I mean, they look dominant.
Yeah,
That's a fair point.
There's other things I want to see from them, and I'll explain after I ask this question. Final thoughts on Michael and Mo. Is there anything to say about this team?
We've said enough.
I think we've said enough.
Twice eliminated
buying
on
a
the
compass
first
might be
episode.
a bad idea. Let's try buying a compass. Because you've tried everything else, I guess.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Goldberg, you want to rank that fourth episode? What you thought?
I didn't love it. I don't know, 5.5.
There you go.
Okay.
That's good. That's good. All right, going on to tonight's episode, what we just watched. Thought this week, just to start off, was a lot better than last week. So, all right. So first, the teams departed in groups, it seemed. Did you guys like this? I didn't really like this. I don't know why.
I didn't really like it.
I mean, I feel like there should be some advantage to Ryan and Dusty taking first, but
well, that's the thing. I think that's why I'm a little hesitant. I mean, Goldberg is right. Like Ryan and Dusty are the favorite, but like the fact that the second team is only 15 minutes behind you, like we've seen this before. Like that 15 minutes, you could be from second to first. Yep. If something crazy happens, like I'm gonna make something up, like you have trouble starting the car, I don't, something crazy. But yeah, I don't like that it's not in groups, because that completely defeats the purpose of finishing in first. I mean, cool, yeah, you get money or you win a trip, but the whole advantage of finishing in first is to try, is to advance quicker to try and finish first again.
Yes.
Do it the better you do it. Maybe the more money you win, or the next cool trip you get to go on. But now with it being split up into groups, I don't like that myself.
Well, yeah, I think you should at least get some type of reward, even against second place. Like, I don't think second place should leave when you leave. So right. I don't know why they did that. I'm a little confused, but not a huge complaint, just a little minor one. But
right.
So this like roadblock was a switchback from season 14, where one team member had to perform a 722-foot bungee jump off of the Verzasca Dam, the second highest commercial bungee jump in the world, with the Travelocity roaming gnome to receive a satchel with a microscopic clue. So this was, my heart was pumping just watching these guys jump off the bridge, or the dam, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Goldberg, did you actually think Sherry was going to be able to do this?
No. I didn't think she would.
Saying, my God, yet?
Is that the first time in Amazing Race history that they wouldn't allow someone to do something, like because they were too fat?
That's a really good question. I think there was one where one team member had to do it because the other team member was too tall. But I don't know about weight.
Yeah, weight was a new one, but
yeah, I want to say it's escaping me now, but like someone had to do the roadblock because the other person could not physically do it, or like they couldn't meet the qualifications to do it. So
I don't know necessarily if that was like Akbar was like thrilled. He was like, cool, I'm too fat, I can't do it. Like, I don't.
Akbar was also the only one who was like laughing as his partner had to do this.
Yeah,
like he did not give a shit. He was getting a good laugh out of it.
Yeah, he was.
Like,
yeah,
you had Penn crying because
I was Penn crying.
Yeah, Penn's crying over there.
He was stunned. Like when Dusty did it, he was stunned. Oh my God! Like if there were bugs flying, he would have had a bunch of them flying in his mouth. But yeah, I laughed at that part.
How does Kim just literally not give any emotions? She's just in the eagle pose and just doesn't yell or nothing. Like, how's that adrenaline not like?
I don't know that. I mean, I guess when money's on the line, I probably would do it, but It would take me some time. I would be standing up there for a little while before I took the plunge. And
Absolutely.
they all jumped right off.
Yep. They
Or at
all
least
did.
they edited it to make it seem like they
Yes.
did. But
Right. They
Oh,
didn't
I,
take me. Yep.
I would have been up there like, yo, are you sure? Let's check the cables one more time. Let's just make
Right.
sure everything's good. And
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Well, did you see
right, yeah,
Kim? Like Penn's like, oh, you got a 2-hour car ride to think about it. You
yeah,
know?
right.
I'm like, oh gosh, that would have been impending doom right there.
But Kim was like, you know, my kids are gonna think this is awesome, and so, you know, she was just like, let's go. Like I'm with Goldberg. I would have done the same thing, but at the same time, like that's the whole point of getting over your fear of heights. I guess I have fear of heights, but like I guess you just, you know, if you think about it, you're not gonna do it. You know?
I think it's easier.
You just gotta
it's
go up
easier
there.
said than done. I don't know.
Oh,
If I was
absolutely.
actually up there, I really don't know if I could have done it. I mean, I really don't know.
I don't know. I think it.
I was nervous. Hurls, I was nervous when I went on the Velocicoaster. I mean, so
no, yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I was going to bring up a theme park related analogy here. I was nervous.
That's nothing compared to
right.
this.
Well, the Velocicoaster is really not that tall, actually. Not compared. Well, okay, go to Cedar Point. Okay, Cedar Point. That whole like trip as we were driving down there, I'm like, oh my gosh, they got some of the tallest roller coasters in the world. And but like once you do one, the fear's kind of taken out of you a little bit, and then you're like, oh, I want to do it again.
Right.
You know, so that's all Cedar Point has. I think they're called like mega coasters, or they're like 300 feet or taller. But it's kind of like that. It's just like you know, it's like once you do it, it's like, okay, that wasn't so bad. This is actually a lot of fun. So maybe that's kind of what they were thinking, you know, like
this
just
is
get
one
it
of
out
the
of
first things I've seen since I started rewatching the show where I don't know if I could have done it, to be honest.
That would have been really hard. Yeah.
Here's another thing. I said this earlier when I was watching it. I think I would have been better if it was like I'm bungee jumping over water and not rock. You know, I don't want to be squashed like a grape.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I
agree with that.
So I think I
don't
have
look
an easier
down
time with
would
that.
Have to be the way to just don't look down.
Yeah, that's true. But then like when you gotta go head first, it's like
It's crazy.
Oh, you know.
And it's like it's the free falling part of it too, because like you get a little bit of it, and then you're kind of floating there.
Yes.
You know,
there's always some sort of like heights challenge, but it's not always bungee jumping.
Right.
So like I think last year they had the rappel.
Yep.
They had a rappel like that. I'd be okay with. Bungee jumping is probably one of my.
Yep.
That would be tough. That would be tough.
I also like the guy who was putting it together, who was running the bungee jump, was like, oh, don't worry, everybody's nervous. I would have rather him say like, you know, don't worry, I do this 100 times a day. Like you got nothing to worry about. Instead, he's like,
right.
It's normal to be nervous. Just it's fine. You're nervous. Like whatever.
Right.
Like make me feel like we're gonna be okay here. Like
right. Sweet talk to me.
Right.
Yeah. Tell me you love me.
Yeah. Tell me you've been doing this for like 27 years. You never had one problem. Like
right. Oh man. Well, he's like, well, there was that time in 2005, you know, or whatever. Gosh. So this was a really good roadblock, though. This is like what people who watch this show want to see stuff like this.
Exactly.
Yep. This is good ratings. All right. So then after that, the teams have to drive to. I'm sure you guys all know it because they said it 100,000 times. Lugano.
Right.
This
Aaron and Natalia said it enough times.
Well, they drove right past it. Did they not turn around? They're like, oh,
East 13.
Like, what were they doing? Like, oh, we're just gonna keep driving the wrong direction and not worry? I didn't understand there.
Aaron is ill-equipped to be on this show.
Yeah.
As bad as his daughter is, he's way worse.
Yeah. Can we get a Jim Mora right now? Playoffs? This game? Playoffs? Are you kidding me?
He's trying with the name.
Oh man.
But they weren't alone because my team messed up with that too. They thought they were great. They thought, oh, we're in second. Oh, we took the scenic route.
You know, they were a little arrogant at the beginning of this
They
episode. And who was driving the car? Which one of them is driving the car?
Raquel, I thought.
She's she's driving with her feet up. She's got her knee leaning against the door. They're talking themselves up. You know, we're a lot better than we thought we'd be. We're really good at this. And then bam, they get lost.
So my thought was because they switched who was going to navigate, which I was like, okay, we're in leg 5 now. If it were me, I would say let's just keep doing what we're doing. Like if I've got I have a person that's a navigator, I'm just going to keep it that way.
Do you think that was because? Do you think they switched because these were automatic cars now? Like more people are comfortable with that, obviously. So
I think I can only go with what they said, which was she was the better navigator. Which, okay, I'll buy that, but you finished, in the top 3 a couple weeks ago, so I don't know. I just wouldn't do that. That's kind of like switching. That's like switching tasks to me. Like, okay, we got to be 100% sure. Like, if but that's just me. So, yeah, luckily, taking the scenic route didn't cost them. But that just goes to show, like, just because you think you're doing well doesn't mean you are, right? I mean, Aaron and Natalia are still looking where to go. So
yes. So this leg's detour was a choice between bartender race or sausage encase. In bartender race, teams had to deliver 12 bottles of wine and 12 bags of chestnuts from street vendors to a cocktail party atop the 400-foot Salita degli Anghioli stairway to receive their next clue from the head bartender. In sausage encase, teams had to squeeze out 9 feet of Luganiga sausage, then divide it into 4 coiled portions to receive their next clue from the butcher. So, first off, okay, what are you picking, Goldberg, out of these two?
No, I'm definitely picking the stairs.
Yep.
There's no doubt. I'm picking the stairs. There's no way I'm making sausage. I wouldn't know how to do it. I wouldn't be confident doing it. The stairs would be tough, but I mean, I know eventually I'll get it done.
Right. Yep. Calbert, what would you pick?
Give me the stairs all day, because at least if nothing else, I got food with me.
I mean, if Sherry could do it,
anyone can do it.
We can do it.
How many bottles of wine and how many of those nuts do you think you could take at a time?
Certainly not all of them, like Sherry thought.
Yeah.
And then she carries like 4 and drops 1.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I would have done what Ryan and Dusty did, probably, to be safe. Maybe make 4 trips overall.
Yeah, they did take a lot of trips. I mean,
it's not like trying. You're not like trying to take the groceries from your car to your house.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Thing. Oh, I'm not coming back because I'm a man, right? No. I probably would have done the same thing. 2 to 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, 2 or 3, and then I think that was a good pace. I think Ryan and Dusty, though, they were able to make a lot of trips, but you also saw what happened to Dusty. He cramped up pretty bad. So
what a real wimp.
Oh man, were you laughing? Be honest, both of you. Were you guys laughing when he started cramping? Just a little bit.
Part of me kind of thinks that was a little exaggerated because they wanted a little mystery of who's going to finish first there. But I don't think it was as close as they were portraying it, because when Lulu I don't want to, never mind. I'll wait.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. The sounds he was making, he was selling it. We'll just say that.
He was definitely selling it.
You know what though? Like, if you think about it, 400 feet, that is pretty tall. And if you gotta, I don't know. I think it seems harder than it looks. But
Sherry didn't cramp up, so
no, she didn't. That's true. Nobody cramped up but him. So.
It's always the people who are in the best shape, you know.
Yeah, they kept saying how good shape they were, and then he starts.
They're really, up. You know, they're really getting cocky now. They need to be taken down a peg.
Well, hey, we're gonna get to that too, because my hot take might surprise you guys. But
okay.
Yep. Yeah, I think I would have done bartender race too. It's just, I don't know. I just don't feel like sitting there and trying to watch how people make something. What do you think was the faster task, though?
The faster task was probably doing the sausage, but like you didn't. Well, look, since my team decided to do it like a bunch of dum-dums,
right?
Which was it almost cost them.
Right.
Like you didn't like. I mean, it's a butcher, so like you have to make sure. Like, look, I don't know how to make sausage. That's why we do the steps. But like, you know, it's a butcher. So like you have to make sure that the length is right, and you know, it's in it's in its right order and it's cut correctly. Because if it's not cut right, then you know you got to do it again. So.
Right. It has to be big enough. I think what Lala and Lulu did, Goldberg, your team, I think they did a smart thing by making that extra one.
They definitely did. Mm-hmm. That probably saved them a lot of time.
It did. I think so. Yeah, Kim and Penn, they really struggled with finding the vendors.
Yeah,
which I thought was interesting. Yep. Penn did not have a good episode, you know, crying earlier, and then they struggled finding the vendors. I mean, I don't know.
You know what? One of the you could say that a bad episode, but they comfortably almost even finished second. So, I mean, if that's a bad episode for them, then
true.
So be it.
But they did go back one though.
He could still be staring out the window for 30 minutes.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Because remember
That's right. He wanted to look at
the window for 30 minutes.
Right. Well, remember, he's got ADHD or whatever. Yeah, he's got something, and he focuses on something. So that kind of goes with his personality, I guess.
True.
And then you got Aaron and Natalia, who didn't find the place until it was practically nighttime. So,
wait. Oh wait. Wait, are we discussing? No, okay. You didn't go through the.
Not yet. We're gonna do the results. Okay. Anything else that was exciting from this detour? I liked the detour though. I thought it was a good detour.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
I liked it. I liked it too.
Mm-hmm. All right, then after the detour, teams had to retrieve a photograph from their Travelocity roaming gnomes satchel and figure out that it depicted Parco Ciani, the legs pit stop. Yeah, I mean, they didn't really make too much of a hassle out of trying to find it, or at least they didn't show it. So maybe it'll be in the hidden scenes on YouTube. Who knows? But all right. So this week's standings, Ryan and Dusty coming first for the third time. Lulu and Lala getting their highest placing at second. Kim and Penn dropping down one this week to third place. The flight attendants moving down one to fourth place. Akbar and Sherry coming in again at fifth place. And Aaron and Natalia coming in last at sixth. However, it was a non-elimination leg. I think I figured this was going to be a non-elimination. I don't know about you guys, but I figured it would definitely be one. So, any thoughts on Aaron and Natalia? Real quick. This is just a sad team. Pathetic.
I know we haven't gotten to our power ranking stuff, but they should count their lucky stars that they're not eliminated.
Yeah.
Because I think I agree with Goldberg. I think their time is real limited. Like next week they're done. Which to Goldberg's credit, I believe Goldberg was the one that said it. We'd have a non-elimination, then an elimination, and I think they're gonna just alternate that for maybe one more time. I could see, you know.
Yeah, I could see actually. I could almost see. So this is episode 5. So we got at least probably 6 episodes left at least.
Right.
We could possibly have 3 more non-elimination legs, possibly, maybe 2. I say 2 for sure, but possibly 3. So, Goldberg, what would you rank this episode, and what were your thoughts?
I love the episode overall. I thought it was a good episode. I liked what they had to do. I liked the jumping off the cliff. I liked the walking up the stairs. So it was a relatable episode for me. I could picture myself doing that kind of stuff, or being afraid to do a couple of those things, or one of those things.
Right.
But overall, I enjoyed the episode a lot, and I if Aaron and Natalya get another non-elimination, I mean, if it happens to them again somehow, would they be the first team to ever be eliminated 4 times?
Oh, I got some breaking news for you guys.
What's that?
So going to the back to the roadblock for safety reasons, Sherry was instructed to perform the roadblock because her partner Akbar was deemed unfit for it.
Right.
Ooh. You know, she almost looks heavier than him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a hard. I'm trying to figure out that one. I mean, I'm sure he is heavier than her, but by that much, I don't know.
That is interesting.
I'd have to look this up because I don't know it off the top of my head, but I would think this is just a complete guess. I have no idea if this is right. I would think the bungee cord then would probably be 300, maybe 300 pounds. It's my guess. I don't know this. I didn't look it up. I'm not 100% sure. So I mean, he's pushing more than that, and that's the thing. Like I that's why I didn't like that. I was like, I don't think that's a good thing that you're promoting that you're fat. And that, I don't have to do it this week.
Right.
That's twice.
Well, at least we get to see some. I guess you could call them regular people. I guess on the show. But the funniest thing in this episode has to be the greeter leaving the mat and not being there for Aaron and Natalya. That had to be
yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
how many times has that ever happened?
When they arrived and walked onto the mat, and I'm thinking, wait, where's the dog and the greeter woman?
Right.
Where the hell did they go?
Right.
And Phil was like, he was pissed. He's like, you know what? I've been standing here all day waiting for you two. I mean,
right.
Even the greeter went home.
Right.
We paid her. I mean, like, thought that was very funny. Very funny.
Wow, that's pathetic. Goldberg or Calbert, what would you give the ranking of this episode?
I thought this was the best episode of the 5 so far. I'd probably give it a 7.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe an 8. And it's just because of the test that they had to do. Like the only thing I didn't like was that it's a non-elimination. Which yes, Earls, you were right. It was a non-elimination, and I mean we kind of talked about like how we kind of like every team thus far.
Yeah,
I don't really like Aaron and Natalya now, just because
they're so bad.
So bad. I mean, Akbar and Sherry's not great either, but like Aaron and Natalya they've got to be one of the worst teams we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a long freaking list.
Yes.
So I'm with Goldberg, man. I hope to get eliminated next week, and I'll watch.
They'll make it through. I'm gonna give this episode. I can't decide if I want to give it a 7.5 or an 8, so I'll give it a 7.7.
Okay.
It was I agree with you. It was definitely the best episode of the season so far. It was just the tasks were good. This seemed like a normal Amazing Race, like so that's what I liked about it. So, all right, let's do our power rankings here. Calbert, why don't you start off? 6th place teams. What do you got?
6th place is Aaron and Natalya. Please go home. Go back to Detroit.
Right,
Looking for
Detroit
camera.
versus everybody.
Delta, just send them home. Send them home now. Phil, it's been fun. Cool. Daughter and father got to do it. That's great. They got to come back. That's even better. Time to go home now. Go shovel snow.
All right, I'll go second. I'm with you this week. Aaron and Natalia, they're sixth. I can't put them ahead of anybody. They're just directionally challenged. So they have not shown me anything in 3 weeks now. They've been slipping down. And I probably had them ranked one of the higher ones. I know, Goldberg, you were sort of high on them at the preseason, but all right, Goldberg, what do you got? Who's your sixth place team?
Aaron and Natalia. I mean, you'd be a fool if you didn't pick them at this point. I mean,
right,
to finish sixth. I mean, there's no question there. As bad as Akbar and Sherry may be, they're not. They're way better than these two, at least to date. I mean, anything could happen next week, but I mean, we know anything could happen, but it's hard to picture them not finishing last again.
Yeah. Calvert, fifth place.
Fifth place, I got Akbar and Sherry. And the only reason why I have them in fifth is just because Sherry did 2 height-related things over 2 weeks. But, you know, they bickered again at each other.
Yes.
And let's go back to the previous episode for just half a second. Sherry said, you deserve to shut up for the toss it. Like, she was having trouble with the flag, getting over her leg. So, like, it's just process of elimination. Like, they're not great either, but, you know, they are better than Aaron and Natalia.
Yes. They're actually not bad at directions, honestly.
Right.
They can get from point A to point B. It's just they're going to do it slowly.
It may take them a little bit because they might have to ask 12 people, but they can do it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I'm also gonna go fifth, Akbar and Sherry. I mean, they're better than Aaron and Natalia, but when you can't run to the mat and you lose a place, I mean, they almost beat the flight attendants, but they didn't want to run. So it's like, come on, guys. You had how many months to get in shape for this?
They could have been last, and they would have been going home because they couldn't fucking move their ass.
I know. It's like,
and as they were being passed, they were like,
and I wasn't far off.
Hope we're not last. Like,
I mean, yeah, right. Like nonchalantly, like I could have been, you know, when I said, like, I wasn't wrong when we did our pre-rankings, when I said they look a little lethargic to me. Mm-hmm. Well, they're proving me right now when they're not trying to run to the mat. So, Goldberg, I'm guessing you have the same fifth place team.
Yeah, they're fifth place based on the fact that they're better than Aaron and Natalia. That's the only reason. Like that.
Yep.
They're in fifth and not sixth.
Right. All right. This is where it could probably get interesting. Number 4, Calvert. Who do you got?
Number 4, I have Lulu and Lala.
Come on.
I have dogged them. I will admit I am holding up my hand. I have gotten them wrong for the last 4 weeks because I thought they were going to be eliminated after episode 2. But whatever issue they have had, they have figured it out, and they're pretty good. They're pretty good. So I got Lulu and Lala at 4.
I also have Lulu and Lala at 4.
When will you two learn?
I mean,
put some respect on there.
Never. No.
You know, they haven't proven enough to me. I think they had one good leg so far. I don't know if you count last week good, but yeah, they're my number 4 team. They're definitely improving. They've seemed to got whatever issues they got, and they also have the Goldberg luck going for them.
They do.
So that they do have that, and they're doing it for their grandma. So
they're trending upwards. I think we all have to agree on that.
Yes.
They're in the top of the pack rather than. I think there's a bottom 2, a middle 2, and then a top 2, kind of. Mm-hmm. No. To say a middle 3 and a top 1. Maybe.
It's tough to say. Well, yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
All right, for my 4th, I'm going to go with Raquel and Kayla.
Okay.
They had a really down episode.
They did.
So for just going power rankings. Current power rankings, I'm going to put them for.
Yeah, they seem to be a little bit regressing. They were a little too cocky this episode, and it did not do well. So, Calbert, number 3.
I have Raquel and Kayla at 3, and I mean Goldberg. Sorry, like the bad time to bad week. Good news is Aaron and Natalia and are still there.
I hope Aaron and Natalia don't listen to this.
Well, so
Calvin, you are absolutely killing them. I mean,
every team goes through this. We see this every week where the teams that we generally pick that we generally, when we do our power rankings at the beginning of the episode or of the season, you know, every team kind of goes through this with some exceptions, but most of the time. So yeah, bad week, too cocky. Okay, let's try not to do that again. You know, let's try not to take the scenic route. That'd be a good start. You know, so but yeah, I put them at 3. So
yeah, they had a little navigational issues, but they at least want to win when they run to the mat at least. So
right.
That's good. Yeah, I'm also picking them at 3. I'm still putting them ahead of Lula and Lala just by a little bit, just from overall performances, but it's starting to get closer with those two. So
yeah.
Yep. Goldberg, number 3. Who's your 3?
I'm gonna go with Lulu and Lala here.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not quite over Kim and Penn yet, and probably not near Kim and Penn yet. Even though, they finished ahead of them this episode, but I got to take the other episodes into account, and I think the top 2 are better than the rest.
Makes sense. Number 2, Calvert.
2, I have Kim and Penn. Because even when Penn cries and even when Penn forgets that he even has the clue in his hand, they still do fairly well. So they are pretty good. Like they are a good team.
Yeah.
Even if they thought they were going to, I think they thought they were going to dance right at the beginning of this episode. They thought
yes.
Which that wasn't what it was.
Right.
So, but yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. And I had to put somebody at 2. So there you go.
Sure. My number 2 is Kim and Penn. They're still a really good team, but they definitely have their faults at times. As we saw tonight, they had some slip ups. Not a lot, but enough to get them to 3rd. So
right.
They went down a little bit, not much in my book. Goldberg, number 2.
Yeah, definitely Kim and Penn. Like I said, I think their top 2 are far and away above the other 4 for now. But number 1 is, to me, obviously far and away better than number 2, even. So,
Calbert, that means your number 1 is Ryan and Dusty.
That is correct. I will jump on the Goldberg bandwagon, so make some room. I will be stunned if Ryan and Dusty don't win this entire thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and it could be like by hours. They could literally win this thing by hours. That's how good they are.
So the cramping didn't take you down a little bit?
No.
Okay.
No. They just yeah. They Dusty screened when doing the bungee jump, but I mean, aside from that, they crushed it. That's the only thing. Like that's the only thing that is themselves, right? The only thing that will stop them, I think, is themselves.
Right.
Meaning, if they make a wrong turn, if they maybe misread a clue, that's it. Like they are far and away 10 out of 10, the best team in the season this year. And I don't even think it's close. To Goldberg's point, it's close, but I think it's the team that's in second is shouting to see if they can find where Ryan and Dusty are.
Yeah. My number 1 is Ryan and Dusty. The one, my hot take was, though, we haven't seen them under pressure yet. And you don't really know how good of a team is until they are under pressure. Like last season, we saw Will and James struggle a few episodes, and they were able to kind of rebound. So they're coasting now, but it's only going to take one really hard challenge, like a puzzle challenge or something. Let's see how they do with those. But anything physical, they are knocking out of the park, which is obviously huge. But I think when it gets down to like, 3, 4, or 4 or 5 or 4 teams, you get a hard puzzle challenge. Let's see how they do. It seems like going into next week, they do get into some type of trouble. So not saying they're going to get eliminated because of that, but seems like they're something might go off for them. But yeah, they're easily number 1 right now. They have not missed a beat, but I'm just going to wait and see though how they do under pressure. But Goldberg, who's your number 1 team?
Yeah, Ryan and Dusty, but I will say one thing. Here's my thoughts on them, and obviously they're far and away number 1 right now. But I would be shocked, like Calvert said, he'd be shocked if they didn't win the whole thing. At this point, now that I think I'd be shocked if they didn't make the final. That would be fucking shocking.
That's
obviously.
Yes.
But anything could happen in a final on the final, and I mean, you never know. Kim and Penn could get ahead. Or even Raquel and Kayla or Lulu and Lala, you just never know. So, them not making a final would utterly shock me.
I mean, what do we know generally in every season? What do we know is coming up? Like, we haven't had it yet, but all it takes is a U-turn, right?
That's true.
I mean, we have not had a U-turn yet. Calvert, you'll get this one. The Ultimate Frisbee. Remember those guys? They were really good. They were cruising. Then they got U-turned, and they ended up losing. So,
but you can't get U-turned if you're in first, right? So,
well, that is true. But like one slip up, even they're in second. Kim and Penn are in first, and they decide to U-turn them. Who knows?
And that goes back to the grouping. That's why I have an issue with it, because it's 15 minutes. So if let's say Kim and Penn jump out in front, even if it's just for a minute or two, the logical thing would be, let's U-turn Ryan and Dusty, because they're the team to beat.
Yep.
And then that goes to Hurl's point. Let's see what they do with the pressure.
Yep.
I would venture a guess and say they probably do fairly well, but we don't know because we haven't seen it yet. So
right, we haven't seen them struggle. This has been one of the most easiest races for them so far. There's been no tension besides a cramp. So that's it. So Calvert, next week, where are we going?
We are going to France.
Okay, France. Been there. We were there last season.
Yep.
And the sisters are still trying to find their way to the
they are
to the detour. Okay. Do we know anything else besides just France?
All I know is it's just France.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't really got much else to say, but I think it's going to be it's starting to shape up, and I'm interested to see how Goldberg's Lulu and Lala team does, because they are starting to get it together now. So
they are.
Mm-hmm.
They do have the luck of the Goldberg on their side. So.
That's right.
Luck of the Goldberg.
Yep.
That's right.
This is how I
fit the Goldberg criteria.
This is how I envision them performing. When it started, I thought they'd be a little smarter, and like you said, Hurls, the way they realized that they should remake a sausage before taking it up and not having to do the whole thing. I thought they'd be smarter girls, and they look a little smarter now than they did when this started. So
yes,
they're not bickering, they're not fighting as much. So maybe they're coming into their own. And as of right now, I'm glad I stuck with them.
Yeah, it's turning out so far so good. So, all right, Calvert, any final comments?
No, I'm looking forward to it, and I think Goldberg was right as far as I think it's gonna be an elimination next week, which means Aaron and Talia can start packing their bags because they got a flight to catch.
Yeah, I don't know. You never know though. They could survive another leg. It's
They could.
possible. You know.
It would be Akbar and Sherry.
Yes. They would. All it takes. Yep.
Good.
Yep. That's all it takes is Akbar and Sherry to just have a really bad leg, and they somehow don't get lost, and here we go.
Right. I can tell you the title of the episode next week is called "Say Cheese."
Okay. So we'd be doing something with pictures or eating cheese.
You know what? I actually missed the preview. Did they show any team specifically struggling?
Yes. Ryan and Dusty were arguing about something.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. Anyone else?
No. I think it's like the cramping. They could have showed Dusty's cramp tonight and then, made it look like they were in trouble.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's our recap of episodes 4 and 5. We will be back next week. You know what? I'd say let's just do it like this after the episode every week.
Yeah, you know what? Let me hit you guys with one more question.
Yeah.
We all just picked who our power rankings and who we think we're gonna. Who at this point? Who are you rooting for to win? If you put your rankings aside and your picks aside, who do you actually want to win at this point?
I don't really dislike anyone.
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds, last season I don't think I liked many teams. This season it's like I don't really mind it. Like even Aaron and Talia, they're directionally challenged, but I don't dislike them, I guess. I mean, yes, they annoy you, but
but if you had to pick one team that you'd want to win it, who would it be?
I still want Ryan and Dusty because of the whole storyline.
Yeah, it's Ryan and Dusty for me. I mean, yeah, I know I've crucified Akbar and Sherry this entire season. I continue to do that, but they just bicker. I mean, so I don't know.
I think
bicker.
I think it would be very cool if Akbar and Sherry won. Just because it would be so awe-defying that
unbelievable.
The fact that they're like guaranteed pretty much a 5th place finish, good for them.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw season 5, but when Chip and Kim won, that was a pretty.
I did watch that.
Okay.
I did watch that season.
Yeah, Chip and Kim winning was a big upset to me because they were going up against Colin and Christy, who ended up winning season 31 because they got invited back. But Chip and Kim, man, they were like how they won that final leg was because of a flight. That was something. So
yeah, that's a good. Well, that's a pretty,
I think Chip and Kim is better than Akbar and Sherry, but still, the way they were able to win that.
No,
season.
they're definitely better.
But still an upset. Also, the upset team that really upset me was the Candy Scientists from season 25. How they won that season with that stacked lineup. Man, that's an upset of all time, I think.
If Aaron and Natalia win, Calvert, you have to pay money to get Aaron on this show.
Yeah.
For an interview.
I agree.
A tell-all interview.
He'd be like, "You guys been jobbing me out every week. What the hell?"
We were gonna have Calvert apologize right to Aaron on the show.
Right.
I'll have some written up. I apologize. I was wrong. Kind of like with I really am, man. I've gotten them wrong. Now, I mean, that just goes to show how things can change in a week, like, or 2 in this case.
Yeah.
Lulu and Lala were on the verge of being eliminated. Like, they were not doing well at all. And I think Hurls and I did the episode, and I was like, Goldberg's got to be worried. Goldberg's got to be a little nervous.
Oh, I texted Hurls saying they're what a horrible pick. I mean, they looked absolutely terrible the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're getting better and better each week.
They really are.
And that's the goal. Like, I mean, so
they win it.
Knowing you, they will win it.
Yeah, with your Goldberg luck, yeah. It works, man. It does.
Oh
Not
God.
eliminated yet.
Will and James. What a. Oh jeez.
Should be fun, though. Should be fun. I'm glad. I'm looking forward to seeing a new country next week. So
Honestly, yes,
wasn't-
yeah, France. That'll be nice. That'll be good. And it's not going to be a big city, so
right.
But I think if the chalk stands up and we get rid of the bottom two teams here that are supposed to be gotten rid of in the next 2 weeks,
yes,
Mhm.
I think the show gets really interesting from there. I think it
Yes.
really does.
Mm-hmm.
anything can happen. I think at that
Anything
point.
could happen with those
Yep.
last
Yep.
4. Maybe I'm overrating Lulu and Lala because I picked them, but I think anything could happen once there's 4 left. Obviously, anything could happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and as we've seen, like all it takes is if all it takes is a wrong turn. If you take a wrong turn in the car, that can cost you. That can cost you.
well, not only that. I mean, we haven't had the U-turn or
Right.
any type of like gimmicky type
Right.
situation happen yet. So
Right.
there's. I'm hoping something will come up, but who knows?
I think you're going to have an elimination next week, and then
I agree. Yeah.
and
Yep.
then it'll either be. I mean, because how many? You think they're going to have 2 more non-eliminations?
I think so. I think they're gonna do.
Or maybe the final could be 2 episodes long, something like that.
It could. Yeah, that could be too. Yeah,
That
I
would-
didn't think of that.
Yeah, that
I
would
didn't
make
think
sense.
of that.
Like a
They
2 hour.
gotta span it out though. So
Because really, with just 6 teams left and you just had a non-elim, could you really have 2 more? That would be. I guess you have to if there's. 6
yeah, just to
episodes
fill
left,
it
but-
out. Right, because we
Or-
missed 2 weeks of eliminations. So.
Or
Or they bring back Mike and Mo one more time.
Oh God, no.
or do we go somewhere else after France right away? Like, I mean, because France is, I mean, it's not terribly far, I mean, from Switzerland it is, but like, could they go somewhere else? Or are they going to do France again?
Yeah, they did 2 Switzerland legs. You wonder if they're going to do 2 France legs. Well, it's looking
fun.
good. We're at the midway point, so.
Hmm.
Yeah. According to this, there's 10 episodes. So my calculations are correct. We got 5. Let's see here. We got 6 teams left, right?
Correct. 4 left then. If that.
So
We're going into episode 6 next week. So
6, 7, 8, 9. So you got 5 episodes left.
5 episodes left.
yeah, 5 episodes left. So we're already halfway done through the season, but there's definitely going to be at least possibly 2,
No.
maybe
There could be
one,
one.
for sure.
I would say 1, and then I think the finale could be 2 episodes.
2
long.
episodes long. Yeah, I could see that happening.
That.
But would you really want that though?
I think it's better than having 2 more non-eliminations.
I could
Yeah.
see it. I could see it though, where it could theoretically be, the top 4 race to the finale. That's a possibility.
Yeah, they could do top 4 race to the finale. Yeah, they've done that and then eliminate one during the leg.
Right.
I just don't see them pausing the momentum of the finale. I don't know why. They usually like to have that last episode stand out, but they could do a 2 hour. They could do a 2
Yeah,
hour. So
They could.
anyways. All right. Well, that's our recap this week of episodes 4 and 5. We will see you next week for episode 6. Peace.